There's a big crash, but the weird thing is, that's not even the most expensive Porsche that's crashed in this city. Probably not even this week. Could be the fastest, but I don't think it's the most expensive. Look at that harbour. What does it take to park a boat in there? Probably a lot of money. And we're live. Hello, hello, hello. How are we all doing? Welcome to Turn15 channel. Monaco Grand Prix, round 8 of the F1 Championship for 2025. This is the jewel in the crown of the 2025 championship and for basically every championship that F1 has run, except for 2020 when it did not run. There's Isaac Hadjar, just walking, chilling, pre-race. He's doing well as well so far, except for a couple of crashes, and in practice he's actually done very well in qualifying, starting 5th today thanks to a couple of penalties. Good work, Isaac. Let's see what he can do for the rest of the night. Looks like an amazing day in Monaco as well. Hope we're all well, wherever you're tuning in from, wherever you are, wherever you may be. Let's restore that. There we go. Fantastic, and we're ready to roll. Yeah, good stuff, good stuff. Norris on pole today, Charles Leclerc second, Piastri, Verstappen and Hadjar as the top 5. Now, Lando Norris desperately needed that pole position, desperately needed something to get his title race back on track. Really needed the win last week in Imola, couldn't get it. Still has not won since Australia, since Albert Park, round 1. I think from memory that's his first pole position since then, so we'll see if he can turn it into his first win since Albert Park. Charles Leclerc will want to stop that, of course. He's going for his second consecutive Formula 1 home Grand Prix win, so we'll see if he can do that. A stonking lap by Norris as well yesterday. It looked for all money, for all bets, that Charles Leclerc was going to just miracle that pole position, but not to be, because Lando Norris set the fastest lap ever of the Monaco track to claim pole position. So well done, Lando. Let's see what he can do. Piastri 3rd, Verstappen 4th. That should be a lot of fun. The top 4, Leclerc not so much. He's kind of replaced Russell this round in terms of an outsider of the top 3 fighting for the championship. But 3 of the top 4 are the title fight protagonists. Let's see what Verstappen can do today, coming off a win in Imola last week, which was very good, very well deserved. Very well earned, and very surprising as well. I was expecting McLaren to be able to trounce Verstappen and Red Bull in Imola, and it didn't happen, so we'll see what they can do today. Isaac Hadjar 5th, Alonso 6th. That's a very odd 3rd row of the grid. Very, very odd. A Racing Bulls and an Aston Martin. Hadjar and Alonso. Hamilton 7th now. So Hamilton did qualify initially in 4th. He's had a 3-place penalty for blocking Verstappen in qualifying. It happens. It happens. Actually, there's a couple of penalties here. A couple of grid drops to deal with for a lot of these guys. Basically, what it comes down to is Monaco is a very tight track. It's a very short track. It's a very narrow track. There's not a lot of space for anybody to go. And especially in Q1, Q2 a little bit, but especially Q1, when you've got potentially 20 cars on track at once, there's not a lot of real estate for everybody to take up. You just get in the way every now and then. It happens. That's part of the magic of Monaco. So Hamilton starting 7th, Ocon starting 8th, so decent qualifying actually for Esteban Ocon. Liam Lawson 9th. From memory, that's his first top 10 start of the year. I think either way, it's a decent start for Liam Lawson, and Albon in 10th. Bit of a surprise for Albon and Williams. Sainz is 11th too, so Williams 10th and 11th. I was expecting a little bit more from them. They definitely showed a lot more in practice, so it's kind of surprising to see them buried really right in the middle of the pack. Tsunoda in 12th, still struggling with the Red Bull. It's starting to drag on a little bit, this initiation period for Tsunoda. I don't know what it's going to take for anybody to get a tune out of that second Red Bull. It's a bit like the Manchester United managerial job. Nobody seems to be able to crack it. No one can do it. Hulkenberg 13th. That should be right on the cusp, right near the points. Like he's always been with the podium all of his career. Right near it. We'll see if he can do anything with it. Russell 14th. Antonelli 15th. Absolute nightmare qualifying for Mercedes. Absolute nightmare. Antonelli crashing at the end of Q1. Qualified 4, but did not partake in Q2 because he binned it. at the chicane after the tunnel, so that's a real shame for Antonelli. Just a rookie mistake, which you'd expect rookies to make, so, dust yourself off and try again. Russell 14th, because his car just died yesterday. Just flat quit on him. Real shame that, real shame. So Mercedes Grand Prix, to put it gently, is completely fucked, unless they can miracle something from 14th and 15th on the grid. And at Monaco, it would have to be a miracle to make up any sort of places like that. I'd say they are on for a very long and unrewarding afternoon. Bortoletto 16th, Gasly 17th, Colapinto in 18th, Stroll 19th, penalty again, bit of a grid drop for a block, and Behrman 20th, a big grid drop, 10 places for, well, it ended up being not 10 places, but, he's starting from the back of the grid for overtaking under a red flag, which is a big no-no according to the stewards, according to everyone really in racing. You don't do that. So Behrman's been absolutely smacked on the wrist and on the arse today. That's your grid. Hopefully it should be a good race. Hopefully. Now Monaco's usually very processional. If you want to get a nap in, I'd say wait till about lap 4 and then go from there. But there is an interesting thing this year. So last year, you might remember, we had that massive crash at the start of the race. I think it was both the Haas's and Checo Perez ended up beating a lot of shit on the run-up to Mirabeau. On the run-up to the hill on lap 1, it all gets a very bit tight up there. That's what she said. And you had 3 cars in the wall and a whole lot of debris all over the place. Red flag, everybody changed tyres under the red flag, like they're allowed to. And because of that, no pit stops the entire race. They ran in whole Monaco Grand Prix without a single pit stop. Well, not without a necessary pit stop, rather. There were a couple who tried it at the end. I think Lance Stroll was one. I remember him making a couple of passes. But really, not a lot of action last year. In fact, it was a fucking struggle to watch. So, this year, 2 stops. Mandatory. They must run each tyre. The soft, the medium, and the hard, which is a difference from just running at least 2 compounds like they do in every other race. This year, for Monaco, it's run all 3, which necessitates 2 pit stops in an ideal world. If you get 2 red flags in this race, first of all, God help me, and second, you get 3 pit stops. You get 3 tyre changes. So we'll see what happens here. The smart money is, if you're a Behrman, a Stroll, a Colapinto or something, it wouldn't hurt that much to do the first lap, change your tyres, do the second lap, change your tyres, and then just run it to the end. Just run the hards, because if track position here is absolutely king. It doesn't matter how slow your tyres are going, or even if your engine's failing, like we saw with Ricciardo in 2018. If you are quick enough, not even if you're quick, well, you got to be quick enough to get up there, but, and that's what she said, if you are ahead on this track, it is virtually impossible to pass. It's very narrow. This is absolutely a track from a bygone era. I think the first one was in 1927 or 29, sometime around then. So this track's been running for nearly 100 years. The cars are massive now, absolutely massive. They're big, fat, wide things, and they're bloody hard to overtake. It was hard enough when the cars were narrow track and a lot shorter and a lot lighter and a lot more nimble. Now they're just, it's like trying to race buses through a car park. They just won't bloody fit together. So yeah, track position's king. We'll see what 2 pit stops can do today. Now, any other news going around? It's been a bit of a quiet week, really, news-wise, which is sort of strange for this time of year in Formula One. I suppose the other news is the Indy 500 is on later, which would be absolutely great, which is why I'm just begging, praying, please, 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 no bloody red flags. I really don't want to miss the start of that. I think that's about it. What else has happened in the week? The F1 movie came out. I guess, well, not come out yet, but they've had a special screening for all the drivers and team bosses and stuff to attend, just a little bit of PR, so I guess that was a thing. I've just heard the word Hollywood thrown around a lot by them who have seen it. Me, I'm a little bit... The plot sounds a little too much like Driven to me, which was absolute drivel back in the day, so not sure how much I would really get into it. I tell you, the shots that they take in that film look amazing. It's the same guy, I think, that did the new Top Gun, so The onboard shots that they've gotten look brilliant. Yeah, not sure about the story though. To me, the story actually feels a little bit arse. Actually, one thing that I was going to touch on last time out in Imola, and I never got a chance because there was just too much happening in that race. Couldn't keep a straight story for more than a minute without something happening. FIA presidency. FIA presidency is still a thing. It's still a re-election coming up at some point. I think it's in November. It's later on this year. Carlos Sainz Sr. is standing for it, potentially. He's not officially thrown his hat out, but he's floated the idea. It's a little bit of a, what you call a soft launch. He's told people to get the word out in the media that he would be prepared to challenge for that. For the presidency of the FIA, and it's basically just a way to figure out how much support he would get, if it's worth actually doing this. If he puts his name out and everyone laughs at it, I probably don't go for it. If he puts his name out and everybody thinks, oh, that's a good idea, maybe it is worth going for. Ben Sulayem is still in a lot of trouble, the current incumbent FIA president. He just seems to stumble from scandal to scandal and brain fart to brain fart, so, you know, doesn't seem like it would be the hardest election to lose. Maybe if you're Carlos Sainz. There's Max Verstappen in his car, because we are just a couple of minutes actually from the formation lap. Actually, even less than a minute from the formation lap going. Looks like the tyre blankets are about to come off. Oscar Piastri sitting in his car. So, before I get distracted, Carlos Sainz might be going for it. Nobody's mentioned this, but I get the feeling it might be because of his relationship with Dave Richards. Now, Dave Richards owns ProDrive. He's wanted to run the FIA in the past. He and Robert Reid, who was the FIA vice president, essentially vice president, if you want to think of it that way, they both recently quit their positions in the FIA. They, I think, like the idea of going for the presidency. Now, Dave Richards is too old to go for the election. I think it's 70 is the cutoff. You're not allowed to, or you're ineligible to be elected. If you're above 70, I think that he clears that, but Carlos Sainz Sr. does not clear that. So he is well in there. I think Dave Richards might be encouraging, shall we say, Carlos Sainz Sr. into running for it. They have a long business relationship going back more than 30 years. It was Carlos Sainz who used to drive for Dave Richards' rally team back in the 90s. So we'll keep an eye on that. Looks like about 5 seconds till the light goes out and we get the formation lap underway. And there it goes. All right. So, top 3, top 4 have all gotten away. That's the starting tyres up. So Verstappen on hards, Alonso hard, Hamilton hard, Sainz, Russell, Antonelli, Colapinto, and Stroll on the hards. Lawson on the soft, Tsunoda on the soft, everybody else on the medium. So look at that. There's a lot of different strategy going on. My goodness, the two-stop might actually be paying dividends after all. You know, part of me thinks if you need to mandate 2 stops, probably this track, as much as I appreciate it, and I really, really do appreciate this. I'm not one of those, oh, get rid of it kind of guys, but as far as modern F1 is concerned, it's really not a good fit anymore, this track. Qualifying here is spectacular, I gotta say that. Absolutely phenomenal. One of the best qualifying sessions of the year because the margins are so fine, as Kimi Antonelli found out, as Hamilton found out in practice. As Hadjar found out a couple of times in practice as well, if you go just a tiny little bit, just a tiny bit off other tracks, you can get away with it. Maybe you kick up a bit of gravel, maybe you even get a half spin or something like that, dip a tire in the grass, whatever. Here, bam, into the wall, and it's all over. Finest of margins, which makes for a fantastic qualifying race day. Not so fun, but let's see what this double stop malarkey can bring us. Now, Drivers' Championship, Piastri still on top. Norris 13 points back. Verstappen 22 points back. So Piastri's got a little bit of a buffer here. Russell, oh, that's going to be a big hit. I mean, he's 47 points off the championship lead, which makes me think that his championship really is just he's a pretender more than a contender. But this, oh, that's a real big hit for poor George to be taken at this time. when you're a championship pretender, you basically cannot have results like this. You have to finish races, and you have to finish them well. If the car's not great, if it's not good enough to win, you have to be contending for top fives, top threes as much as you can, and a result like this really could kill it. So, who knows? It's still all up in the air because we are still yet to start the race. So let's see how we go. That's Oliver Bearman coming around the last couple of corners now, while Lando and Charles are still waiting at the front of the grid. They've been sitting there for a little while now. They really do let them just dawdle at the back, don't they? You end up having the front runners just sitting enough time to make and drink a coffee while they're waiting for the rest of the grid to come. Here we go. 2 lights, 3 lights, 4, 5. And the race is on. Decent enough start from Norris. Charles Leclerc's got a good start, but can he go anywhere with it? Norris, big lock up into turn 1, and he's made it through. Oh, a little bit of side-by-side going down the grid, but it looks very well behaved, so it's not like the F2, it's not like the Porsches. Everybody's made it through turn 1. That was probably their biggest chance for something to go wrong, when everybody is just funneling into turn 1 side-by-side. So Norris has kept the lead. Now he's absolutely locked the shit out of those tyres. So we'll see what that does. I mean, he is on the medium, so he doesn't have to run those things extremely long. But, oh, look at those Mercedes just holding each other up. That's very close between Antonelli and Hulkenberg. I think Hulkenberg's going to split them. No, that's not Hulkenberg at all. That's Bortoleto, of course. Hulkenberg stayed where he qualified, and Bortoleto's out. Pushed into Portier. Into the barrier. Now, it was a slow speed impact. Maybe he could get out of there. It looked pretty front on, but he's absolutely fucked either way. Oh, jeez. And it looks like he is going. It looked pretty square hit at the front into the Tech Pro barrier, so yeah, he is going. Ah, oh, that's really unlucky. I want to see a replay of that, because it looked like Antonelli just tried to get the position back as quick as he could, and he ended up just plowing into the wall. Here we go, virtual safety car. So everybody's pitting right now, which is Tsunoda. Looks like Bearman. Is that one of the Alpines as well? That'd have to be Colapinto. Unless it's Gasly. No, it is Gasly. So it's Tsunoda, Gasly, Bearman, and it will be Bortoleto as well coming into the pits. Very, very early. That is cheap. That's a good pit stop to take. Oh, that's... Oh, what's this? Bearman. What is going on here? That is an awful pit stop. I mean, at least it's the VSC, but that's an awful pit stop. Yeah, Antonelli has... Oh... Ugh, that's, rude, maybe, from Antonelli. Now, that's a decent pass from Bortoleto. He's got the place. He's ahead at the next part of the corner. Then Antonelli comes back at him, and there's just no room for it. Bortoleto saying, Kimi, push me out. I don't know. I mean, yeah, and on one hand, yeah, he did push you, but on the other hand, you know, you could just back way out of it. See, the problem is, if you try to get a pass done in Monaco, and we were seeing this, I think it was in the F2 yesterday, where everybody was trying to make a pass, and there was just so many penalties coming through because, you know, people would be colliding or pushing other guys off and stuff, because you kind of have to do that here. And look at Bearman way, way at the back now. So that fucky pit stops just killed him. So on board with Leclerc. Well, I don't know how long they're going to keep this virtual safety car up. There can't be that much debris to be picking up, surely, unless Bortoleto started shitting out bits of wing all over the tunnel. Which I've not seen yet, actually. what a bit of a mess. So it looks like the Tech Pro barrier is mostly back into place. I mean, you can see where Bortoletto's gone into it. See, the thing is, if they're waiting for... If they're waiting for the field to go by before they can get out and start resetting that Tech Pro barrier, I think it'd be better off just to get the actual safety car out, because it will close the whole field up. A VSC should be able to cover that normally, especially on the start when everybody's bunched together. But the thing is, because of the early pit stops, nobody's bunched together. There's a big gap from Bortoletto to Norris. So Bortoletto's right now just about going through Portier, and Norris has just gone through Saint-Devote. So there's a little bit of a window to get some work done if they don't want any cars going by while there's marshals there. But I think a full safety car would be better if they're going to be doing that. Now here's a replay of the start. Charles Leclerc killed it, but the problem is there's just nowhere to go. Absolutely nowhere to go. It's very close, but everybody looks like they were pretty well behaved. I mean, at least till they got to Portier and then it all went wrong. Look at that. Both front tyres locked up on Lando Norris. Ooh, good grief. So, on board from Piastri. A little bit tardy off the start from Piastri. You see Max Verstappen coming right up alongside him. But again, track position is king here. And it's very, very narrow. There's generally not a lot of room if you want to make a pass on the outside. Unlike Bortoletto, who made a pass on the outside of the hairpin, which was very, very tidy, and ended up eating a whole chunk of wall for his trouble. Looks like Kimi got a bit of a slide through that corner, actually. Maybe that contributed to him putting him out. Either I'm seeing ghosts, or it looked like Kimi got just a little bit tail happy through the apex there. It didn't look like he opened the steering wheel, at least not to extend the corner. It just looked like the back end was coming off him. So the VSC is done, and we're back to racing speed. Now, it's not necessarily the worst thing for Tsunoda to have so much space to Stroll. A full safety car would mean that everybody who's pitted could catch right back up. But the nature of this track is that it's so slow that if you are stuck up in the pack, you can get caught very, very quickly by everybody behind you, even if they are kind of looking after their tyres. I'd say keep an eye on Tsunoda. Keep an eye on Tsunoda, keep an eye on Gasly. I think Behrman and Bortoletto are in too much trouble to really be doing anything unless we do get a full safety car. But Tsunoda and Gasly we'll keep an eye on from here. Because it looks like Tsunoda could just well run this thing until basically to the end. Still needs to make one more stop, but we'll see what he does. It could even be that he waits till the final lap to make that pit stop. Let's see. The thing is, when you try to make a rule like 2 pit stops, you envision that everybody is going to try to be competitive and make 2 genuine pit stops, rather than shithousing it and cheesing it like F1 teams are always going to do. If they can get away with 1 lap, and we've seen it before in this sport, if they can get away with just 1 lap on another tyre, then they'll do that. Competitive always outweighs the nature of the sport, which is to make it entertaining and to make it, how do I put it, a bit of a level playing field. Either way, we are fully back into racing. So Norris has already passed DRS. Not that DRS really does a whole lot of, really helps a whole lot here anyway. So Norris, Leclerc, Piastri, Verstappen, Hadjar still in 5th, Alonso still in 6th. So great news for them. Hamilton still in 7th. Bad news for Lewis. That block on Verstappen is really coming back to haunt him. Max himself said that it was not Lewis's fault, and he's right. It wasn't Lewis's fault really, it was the team's fault. But like I said, it's Monaco. It's why I was very forgiving of even Stroll's indiscretions. It's very difficult to read what's going on in Monaco. It's very, very tight. It's very contained. It can get away from you very quickly here. Norris is just going for it. Norris is just absolutely going for it. Actually, a good point raised by Chandok as well. Tsunoda is ahead. If Piastri were to pit now, then Tsunoda would come out ahead of him. And I'm wondering if Red Bull are just going to sacrifice Tsunoda's race entirely. See, pitting early is good, especially under the VSA. Pitting early is good because it just takes a whole pit stop cycle off you. Everybody ahead of him has to stop twice. He only has to stop the one more time. It could be massively beneficial for him. I mean, if he comes out, if Piastri were to pit now, if everybody from 3 down was to pit now, Tsunoda would be third and they would all have one more pit stop left to do. Now, the whole thing is Tsunoda has to stay about 20 odd seconds from Piastri. He has to stay in that sort of range in order to be able to jump this and make it work. The big problem he has is if he catches up to Stroll, Colapinto, the Mercedes and whatnot, and they start backing him up, well, that could be very bad news, because it could mean that all of that early pit stop shenanigans are just totally kaput. It's just incredible that they can even fit a racetrack through this place. I'm surprised, just looking at the topography of the place, that they can fit anything here. A city or whatever. It's so... I mean, here's me living in the big, flat fucking land of nothing, but just a geography like this, I can't even wrap my head around fitting like buildings and stuff like that in there. It just looks incredible. So on board with Kimi Antonelli. No word yet on Kimi Antonelli for that move on Bortoleto. It's a bit hard to read, honestly. I think it looks like one of those things that maybe Bortoleto could have backed out of a little bit more. There was no contact there, but only because Bortoleto let it go. Do you really want to punish going for any sort of a pass here at all? Because then you're just going to end up with like nothing. Could almost flip a coin, really. So Hulkenberg, right on the arse of Carlos Sainz here. So far up his arse, he could almost smell his lunch. Just not enough room, not enough speed differential. Oh, yellow flag. Who's this? Stroll, maybe? Gasly's just gotten by Stroll. It looks... No. Stroll, Gasly have switched again. Gasly into the wall. He's fucked. All right. So that's what it is. I thought it was strange because Gasly jumped Tsunoda and Stroll very quickly, which makes me think he's hit the wall and then just missed the timing line through the chicane at the end of the tunnel. Got no brakes, he says. Fuck, I'll say. He got no front wheel anymore either. Yeah. Oh. That thing is done. And he's going to try to drive it into the pit lane, and it looks like he's going to make it too. Yellow flag around the chicane after the tunnel too. I think that probably what's happened, he's just gotten unsettled on the bump, the downhill part where you brake, and it's just sent him into the wall. Yep, there it is. Or maybe I'm full of shit. Maybe he's just cut that corner a little too quickly. Ooh. Piastri and Verstappen really going at it. So Piastri really did have no brakes, which is... Not Piastri, sorry, Gasly. Pierre Gasly, rather. Really did have no brakes going into the chicane. That's terrifying, actually, at the tunnel. That's one of the worst places you could run out of brakes here. It'll have to be a red flag. Not a red flag, sorry. It'll have to be a safety car, surely. The field is too spread out now. Unless they are going to try to... Oh, there's a bit of a gap between Norris and Bortoleto. If they want to VSC it, they could probably do it. Now, here we are on board with Gasly. So he was right close to Tsunoda. And... and he's ridden right up the back of Tsunoda. So that's how he jumped ahead of him? Yeah, fuck. Oh, Yuki's taking a big hit up the arse there. This camera's going to miss it entirely, yeah. Oh, almost into Colapinto too. Thank goodness he didn't hit him. He would have had 100,000 Argentines calling him a dickhead on Twitter. Pit lane entry closed. That would be because Pierre's parked there. Is he an idiot? What is he doing? Says Sonoda. It's not his fault this time. I love that F1 drivers just default into like road rage. It's never like, maybe something went wrong. Maybe he couldn't help it, you know. Maybe suspension broke or brakes failed or something like that. Fuck no, it's always, this guy's a prick. He did that on purpose, the arsehole. Make sure you fucking punish him. Right. Still a yellow flag. Nobody is even close to the chicane right now. Like, Norris is just going through the casino square, so there's still a good 20 odd seconds for them to get on the track, pick up whatever, and then get off it. They could probably get away without a safety car for this, without a VSC even. I mean, we'll see, but... So, Verstappen radio complaining about Piastri's driving. So, I wonder what that's about, if that's just like yellow flag misunderstanding or something out of Piastri and Verstappen. And pit lane's now open again. So we'll see if anybody goes for this now. I wonder if we'd end up seeing Sonoda. I hope you don't, because I think Sonoda would only have the soft left to run, surely. I can't remember what he started on. I'm pretty sure he started on the medium. Maybe if he's got the medium to use... Oh, fuck, I wish I could remember that. Maybe if he's got the medium to use, then he could pit again and just run that thing to the end. I mean, it would have no grip, but... It's not that bad here. So here we are. What is Verstappen complaining about? There's a replay. Piastri. Oh, he's just kind of cut across the track. So Verstappen's tried to ambush Piastri when they get to the green flag zone, and Piastri's just read that and sort of blocked him off. Nothing too dirty from that. I think Verstappen's just frustrated that it didn't work. 1.1 seconds now behind Piastri is Max Verstappen, so you could see why he's frustrated that it didn't work, because that was probably the best chance he had to get ahead. Outside of a pit stop, that is. So lap 12, Norris, Leclerc, Piastri, Verstappen, Hadjar, Alonso, Hamilton, Ocon, Lawson, Albon, so no change in the top 10. Then Sainz, Hulkenberg, Tsunoda, Gasly, incident, collision noted. Well, I think we know what collision that was. Alonso, do you think the car in front respected all the yellows? So, Alonso's saying that Isaac Hadjar maybe was going too fast. So, let's see. Just quietly, I wonder if RB, as Hulkenberg's in the pits, I wonder if RB are telling Lawson to back the fuck off. Maybe they think Hadjar might get a penalty after all. Because I've just noticed the difference between Ocon and Lawson right now. Ocon's just going into the chicane and Lawson's just going around Portier. So, what is it, 12 and a half seconds now between Ocon and Lawson. That's a big gap. That's a big, big gap. I'm just looking at the track map and there's just two distinct packs now. In fact, it's helped Tsunoda, Bem and Bortoleto all catch up to the back. So I think Lawson either is struggling with a problem or he might be backing everybody up. So Hadjar might be in trouble. Norris just getting info from his pit wall about his tyres. Doesn't look anything catastrophic, so they're looking at Lawson now on the television. Alex Albon right up behind him. Colapinto in the pits. If there's any Argentinians watching, I love Frankie. I love him. I think he's a fantastic driver. He's brilliant. Just, yeah, please just leave me alone. I don't want any trouble. I kid, of course. Nobody cares what an Argentinian has to say. Hadjar, box. So here we go. That could be it. That could be Lawson trying to block everybody up. The thing is that enough space? So Hadjar is in the pits. They're going to tell Lawson to really, really back off. So he's just dropped another 3 seconds or so in a lap. So he is trying to make a window there. This pit stop has to be good, though, to make it work. 2.7 seconds. That might be enough. Lawson is coming around the last corner now, and Hadjar is absolutely clear. He's sailing. See you later. So there it is. That is absolutely executed to perfection from RB. Otherwise, he would have been stuck in traffic hell. Which is what you can do when you have cars positioned advantageously around here. I can't imagine they would get Piastri to do the same thing for Norris at McLaren. Hadjar now on the soft, so this could be a quick middle stint, surely. Alright, Leclerc has no idea what he's supposed to be doing in terms of strategy. Plan B, stay with Norris. We'll see if that works for Leclerc. Actually, Ferrari killed the strategy last week, didn't they? So we'll give them the benefit of the doubt for now. Let's see how they go. Lawson is now 5 seconds behind, so will Lawson step on the gas, or are they going to just keep him back there? You know, it would be fucking hilarious if they told Lawson to just back up, like really, really, really back up, and then they just pitted Hadjar again into clear air. I mean, it would completely fuck the race for everybody behind him, but it would be hilarious. Just following the cars here. That looks... it's just such a nice place. I mean, well, I've never been, but it looks like a nice place. It's very... in the sunshine, you know, the old stone buildings and the old architecture, classic sort of architecture. This looks like a marvelous little corner of the world. Alonso in the pits here. Now, the thing is, Lawson backing everybody up means that... Oh, he's had to almost stop coming out of his pit box, Alonso has, because Ocon was there. Oh, slow out of the pits as well for Ocon. 3.1 seconds now. There's Hadjar. So Alonso comes out behind Hadjar, so that definitely worked. And Ocon comes out in 8th. Now, the problem is Lawson is still in 9th. He hasn't been able to catch up any, but I guess that's not really his strategy now, is it? Lawson is just here to frustrate everybody. The Williams, the Mercedes, everyone he can find. Hamilton radio, what do you need from me? Push now, this is our race. Alright, so by our race, what they mean is they need to create a gap to Hadjar. If they can create a gap to Hadjar, they get a free pit stop essentially, and then Hamilton gets to keep 5th place. If Hamilton finishes 5th, I tell you, that's probably the most Ferrari could have hoped to get out of today. Unless something strange happens, I don't see Hamilton passing any of the cars ahead of him. Oh, Carlos Sainz just running. Oh, Alonso is losing it on the radio. Asked to push and he's saying that he can't. Because he's stuck behind Isaac Hadjar. Now, I wonder if Aston had brought Alonso in one lap earlier, if it would have helped. Stroll in the pits now. So is the Bearman. So, Bearman, that's it. Bearman will be done with pitting. This is it, so keep an eye on Ollie. If there is a safety car, you will see some serious shithousery out of the Haas. Hamilton radio box. So they're not really running him that long on the hard. I would have thought that they'd run him a little bit longer in the race starting like that. Oh. Looks like a decent stop, and it looks like he's going to keep ahead of everybody. Oh, it's going to be pretty close, but I think he should make it. Yeah, he's going to make it easy. What is he? Couple of seconds there? Yeah, no problem. So, decent work for Hamilton. Well done again. So I'm wondering if I'm Tsunoda, if I just pit again like Bearman did, and then just, that's it, that's the end of the pit stop cycle. The thing is, Bearman isn't that far ahead of the leaders now. Norris has just ducked into the pits. That looks kind of slow. Looks like a pretty slow stop. 2.7. Maybe it's just deceptive. It's hard to see from that far out. Oh. Norris has a whole lot of space now to join back in. Now, what can Leclerc, Piastri, and Verstappen do? Lawson looks like he's really frustrating Albon here. Hadjar's in the pits. So it was a quick cycle. Pardon me, a quick cycle through. Hadjar's in the pits, and it looks like he's going to get out ahead of Lawson again. So Usagli and Lawson, they have absolutely nailed. Yeah, they've nailed it. They are going to lock, as long as he keeps the car on the road, they will lock Hadjar into a top, I would assume, a top 6 space. Top 6 place here by the end of the race. Shit, well done, RB. Killed one driver, but killed it for another. Well done. It's like Piastri in the pits. Not a great stop out of Piastri either. 3.8 seconds, so there was something wrong with that one. There's something really wrong with that one. You can see Norris is already going to go by him now on the track. Yep. There he goes. Hamilton's still a long way away, but is Verstappen going to be able to do something here? Now we'll see. We'll see what happens here with Verstappen. They could just tell him, all right, pit now. Push the end of this lap and then pit, or they might keep him out, see if they can make a little bit more time on him, because that was just a gift from heaven right there for Piastri. For Red Bull with Piastri there. Yeah, that was a slow stop. Not great. I tell you, one thing is happening. This race actually has strategy to it now. A genuine strategy. It's not just everybody shithousing to the end on one stop, especially with a red flag stop. None of that bullshit. They're all genuinely going for it. I think with a race like this, it would be helpful to have a counter of who has actually done their 2 stops. Now, Bearman absolutely has. And you know what? Bearman's going to jump ahead of Tsunoda there. Just looking at those the timing from the leader. Box, Leclerc, here we go. So Verstappen, we'll see if he will pit as well. Leclerc, I would imagine, unless the pit stop goes all wrong, I'd imagine that he would stay ahead of Piastri. Other than that, Piastri's had the outlap of his life. Looks like he'll be safe. Yeah, looks like it'll be about a 4-second. Assuming the stop goes all right, and let's see if it does. Leclerc in. Looks like a pretty fucking decent stop, that. He barely stopped at all. 2 seconds. Jeez, that was quick. That's what she said. Good grief. There's Norris. Predictably, Lando Norris still stays ahead, but Charles Leclerc is going to stay ahead of Piastri. Fair enough. I'll tell you something. Fucking love the Indy 500. It's great. Look forward to it every single year. Today is like Christmas, but better because we got Monaco, then Indy. Bloody fantastic. It would be the NASCAR afterwards, but I can only stay awake for so long. However, one thing about Indy is when the pit stops have started cycling through, you get guys who are running long, running short, doing all sorts of different strategies. It gets very, very jumbled. Very, very jumbled very quickly, and it's really hard to keep an eye on 33, give or take, cars at once to try to figure out what the fuck everybody is doing in relation to everybody else. We're in that phase of the race right now. A few of them, some of them haven't pitted yet, some of them have pitted once, some of them have pitted twice. It's Piastri, what's the plan? Because that didn't work very well. Well, I mean, Oscar, stop throwing shade like that, mate. I mean, you want to fucking play it like that, I could just say the plan is next time go faster on Saturday. I'm not sure Piastri is going to get past Leclerc today. I think he's just feeling it too much. It's a lovely shot off the drone as well. That camera, that angle of Mirabeau. Massenet rather, not Mirabeau. So like drone cameras when they use like that, when they start like trying to chase the cars and shit like that, it just turns into a total fucking nightmare. But static shots, fantastic. Especially that like above the Casino Square complex drone shot they've been using all weekend. It's just looked phenomenal. Looks like SimCity. Alright. So Piastri, fastest lap. Now, Verstappen is 19, just under 20 seconds ahead of Piastri. Now, it is a very short pit lane. It's a very short pit lane. And generally, 19 seconds, if the pit stop's good enough, I think that could probably get him ahead. It'd be tight, but it could get him ahead. It looks like they're just sitting pretty for now. So, about a third of the way through the race now. In fact, we are a third of the way through the race. Verstappen, Norris, Leclerc, Piastri, Hamilton, Alonso, Ocon, Hadjar, Lawson, Albon, then Sainz, Russell, Antonelli, Tsunoda, Bortoletto, Hulk, Colapinto, Stroll, and Behrman. Gasly, of course, has crashed. Now look at that gap starting to disappear for Verstappen. I think maybe they should have pitted already. The thing is, there's no fuel offset with the pit stops anymore. Not like there used to be 15 years ago and beyond. So generally, if you... Whoop, Russell Radio. They're just... I don't know why Mercedes are just... They're not trying anything. They're not trying anything with Russell and or Antonelli. They're just content, I think, to just sit behind the Williams all afternoon. I'm not sure exactly what they could have tried, but keeping both cars on the same plan, I think you better hope that plan works, because you could have it work for one and not the other, or you could fuck both of your drivers by having it to a plan that doesn't work. Get the feeling the pit stop rule will only help so much in making Monaco interesting. Might the stop cycle will be left with a bigger issue of no more movements through to the end. That's true. Couldn't have put it better myself. That's actually true. The big thing is, I mean, last year there was essentially no pit stops. There was no pit stops because there was a red flag. And I think the bad rule is, the rule should be, tyre change must take place during a green stop. You can change tyres under a red flag, that's fine, but it doesn't count. You must make at least one tyre change during the race. That should be the rule, because then it would get rid of all of this horse shit with guys just totally lucking into it. Pierre Gasly at Monza in 2020 just completely lucked that win. I mean, okay, they have to be good enough to stay in the lead and things like that. I get it. But that's, to me, it's just cheesing it when you can just vault from the middle to the front because you've changed tyres under a red flag. To me, it's just, it's a little too random. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, weird things happen in F1. Sure, they do. That's fine. But just something doesn't sit right with me when they get to change tyres under a red flag and then that's their pit stop done. Especially when some guys have to take an actual pit stop in the race. You know, luck and all of that, but it just doesn't sit right with me. However, the reason that nobody pitted last year is because of the red flag. Okay, so that rule kind of sucks. But then there's another thing where we had 70... Oh, what was it in the end? I think it was reduced by like 1 or 2 laps. It was like 76, 77 laps of zero action happening. No on-track passing, no anything like that. Now, that isn't because there's no more pit stops per se. It sure doesn't help, but that's more that there's no room to make a pass on this track. There's just no room to do it. The hybrids mean that they are constantly accelerating, backed with electric energy, and the turbo as well. It's like a different kind of acceleration as Verstappen comes into the pits and interrupts that point. Lando has absolutely run through him. Charles Leclerc should do the same. There he goes. Now Piastri, will he make it too? He's got to make it. So, Red Bull, waited too long. They totally fucked that up. Blew it. I don't know why they've done that. I just don't know why they've done that. It's a shame. But, to get back to my point, they just can't fucking pass here. The cars are too quick to top speed. It doesn't help that they've sort of equalized the engines. They're not all equal. Oh, Behrman almost pushed into the wall there by Stroll. It's fair. Play on. It doesn't help that the cars... the engines aren't equal. I mean, that Renault was absolutely lacking power, that Renault engine. It's part of the reason why the Alpines have been struggling so much this year. I mean, it's part of the reason why they're ditching the engines entirely at Very, because they just can't fucking make a good one. They've been trying it for 10 years and it's never worked. Actually, it's crazy. 30 years ago, they used to make the class engine of the field. How times change. Either way, Either way. Oh, what is this? Norris, why are there no blue flags? So Norris just not happy with the traffic. Lost my train of thought. What was I talking about? Engines. Yes. It's hard to pass here. It's very, very, very difficult to pass. I love the challenge of the track for the drivers because you have to nail it every single lap. You cannot fuck up. If you got a problem, it spells disaster for you at sacrifice. It could be an inch, even half an inch. Oh, the Haas is really having a look at the Aston Martin, just can't get it done. Stroll and Behrman there. Even half an inch. Oh, Behrman just really clobbers that. Absolutely smashes the curb there at the chicane. Fuck, he's gonna feel that through his ass. Oi oi. Yeah, if you're even half an inch off, the whole thing is fucked. That's what she said. It's very, very hard to make a pass. I appreciate the challenge of the track and all of that, but I tell you, watching an actual race here, fuck, it gets brutal sometimes, doesn't it? It really does. Now, when it rains here, it gets very interesting. We saw that a couple of years ago in 23, where there was a big rain shower came through around lap 50, and nothing happened that entire race. Nothing. Until about a 10-lap window where everything happened, and it was fantastic. And it almost reminded me of racing at pretty much any other track on the calendar where things just happen. So that's Norris going by Antonelli. Fuck, that's gonna hurt. I mean, that's more than a problem really with their performance. Not that Mercedes has been all that quick here. They certainly weren't 12th and 13th on pace. I'll put it that way. They were a little bit quicker than that in practice. But the big problem here for Mercedes is that they just totally cooked their qualifying. Russell's car died and Antonelli crashed. And at a track like Monaco, it doesn't really matter what kind of car you've got. Leclerc saying this is a joke, so I guess he's complaining about the traffic as well. It's hard to make a pass. Even if you're getting lapped here, it's hard to make a pass. What was it, a few years ago? Was it 2022? I think 2022 when Carlos Sainz ended up losing the race. Yeah, it must have been 22, I think, because Checo won. Carlos Sainz in the catbird seat to win that race. The Ferraris actually, I think, were running 1 and 2 into the pit stops after Checo had already pitted. And they both got held up behind the Williams. Carlos Sainz got held up for, I think, almost half a lap behind Logan Sargent in the Williams. It had just completely fucked his race. Was it Latifi back then? I forget. I think it might have been Nick Latifi. God, that's running it back. Either way, you know, it's hard to pass even if you're getting a blue flag waved in your face. And I don't mean a Williams flag, I mean an actual blue flag. So Lawson's finally pitted. So Lawson's about to eat a whole lot of cars because this, the train goes from Norris to Hamilton and basically everybody lapped in between. Looks like Lawson's actually cleared Sainz. My shifts feel like Monaco Grand Prix 1972, says Verstappen. What an odd thing to say. Just look at this train here. I'm surprised. I'm surprised that Mercedes didn't split their strategy, to be honest. Box is the call for Alex Albon, so he's going to be coming out, I think, basically right in the middle of all of this malarkey. Yeah, it looks like this entire train is going to be coming on him. Oi oi. Oh, Lawson. Yeah, gets Alex out of the pits. And Leclerc's going to love that because he's just got a Williams fed right into him. I'll put it this way. Where it's lap 34 of 78, even with all of this one stop, two stop shit, you better start believing in Lando Norris wins because you're watching one. So we're getting near half distance here. And like the rake said on that chat, once the stops are done, we're just basically watching a parade to the end. So, I mean, God willing, somebody's going to wait until the second part of the race to make a stop. I'm struggling to see what the fuck the Mercedes strategy is here. I just can't pick it. That said, looks like Hamilton is absolutely safe in 5th place. So the top 5, I think, are just going to lock in exactly where they are. Then Alonso will probably drop behind Hadjar. Probably drop behind Ocon as well. And then it's just the everybody a lap down after that. And now we play the waiting game. So we are waiting for about 43 laps until the end now. Which is also the fun of Monaco, isn't it? So if you've got a book you'd like to read, if you've got a nap that you'd like to take, I'd suggest it. So while we're waiting on anything to really happen on track, I will just say, oh, there's Zinedine Zidane. It is kind of funny that you can be an absolute legend like Zidane, a genuine legend of the game, and the one thing everybody remembers you for is the fucking headbutt in the World Cup. You could do whatever you want in your career, but if you end up pulling some stunt like that, that's all anybody's ever going to talk about. Truly the George Michael of football. Oh, there's that drone shot. Bloody lovely. Looks like Sin City. Fantastic. Anyway, while we're waiting for anything to happen, what I will say is I'm going to elaborate. I think Dave Richards v Ben Sulayem, that is the real game in terms of the FIA presidency, which is important because Ben Sulayem, in my opinion, needs to get the fuck out. I don't think he's done anything really positive for F1 or motorsports in general. I think all the gains that F1 has made so far has been liberty driven. He's not brought really anybody into F1. I mean, Cadillac's coming into F1, but let's face it, that's a liberty thing. That's the Netflix effect. FIA's had basically nothing to do with that. The cost cap was coming in already before he took the helm. He did oversee Red Bull overspending and getting what a lot of people would think is just a slap on the wrist for it. I think he's more concerned with drivers not swearing on the radio, which is funny because F1 will try to market itself like, here's Gunther Steiner, he swears a lot, isn't he funny, ha ha ha. But as soon as Max Verstappen says something like, ow me fucking finger, in a press conference, you know, everyone in the FIA at least loses their mind. I don't think anybody, drivers, press, even little Timmy at home watching really gives a shit about Max dropping an F-bomb or two. But it's funny, like they'll try to play up guys losing it. Guys like Yuki Tsunoda losing and swearing on the radio. Guys like Gunther Steiner losing it and swearing on the pit box and on the phone and all of that shit. Either way, Ben Sulayem, for whatever reason, he acts like a Midwestern Christian mom. Horrified by swearing. It's the worst thing in the world. The only other thing worse is the jewelry they're all wearing. Goodness me. I don't know why. He wants them to look and act like they're bank managers, which is really antithetical to what F1 is trying to push as an image. They are trying to, now that America is finally watching, they're trying to make it rockstar kind of shit. They want personality, and everybody wants personalities. They want these guys to be bombastic and fun and entertaining and engaging and good to watch, and that's Alonso blowing up. Fuck! And he just pulls out. Oddly enough, he had one corner to go until the pits, but he's not even bothered to go in there. That Aston Martin's a piece of shit, so he probably doesn't care about just letting it burn. Yeah, Alonso on the radio just saying there's smoke. Now, he's pulled right off the track, which means there should not be any intervention for it. So, Alonso, fuck, out of the race. Once again, the unluckiest man in F1 does not score a point this year. Now, Bottas not scoring a point at all last season, I think, was a massive anomaly. And really unjust as well. He's better than that. He's a better driver than to not score a point in a season. I think that is testament to how bad Sauber were and how unfair life can be, I guess, sometimes. And I say that through gritted teeth, because to be paid millions of dollars to race Formula One cars around the world, it's not the unluckiest life to really lead, is it? However, in a competitive sense, he's very, very unlucky to have that. And I wonder if Alonso, surely he's not going to go a whole season without scoring a point. Surely he won't. But then again, stranger things. I'm not sure how many stranger things than that have happened, but stranger things have happened. So Norris getting told to hurry up just a little bit, please. They're looking over their shoulder at Charles Leclerc. They don't like what they see. He's like that shark. What comes after you in Treasure Trove Cove. You go in the water just a little too deep and he'll be right there and nip you. Yeah, Alonso. Surely Alonso's going to get a point at some point this season. Surely it's going to happen. Could have happened in Miami in the sprint and he got taken out by Lawson. Could have happened today and his engine's blown up. Could have happened in Imola and he ended up just getting completely fucked with the strategy. So the pace is there. It's just all going to come together. Like, I think the luck more than anything has to come through for him, and surely it has to. Even though he says he's self-proclaimed the unluckiest driver in F1. Surely not in history. That's got to be Mark Webber, but he's not far. He's not far away. I think what Alonso needs to do is just cut back on his hobby of walking on the ladders and very close to the wall there by Alex Albon, just giving a little nudge, just a tiny little tap on the shoulder as he goes. There's Nando walking back. It's a real shame. A real shame there. He could have won here a couple of years ago as well. I'm convinced that he could have won here a couple of years ago. He just had, again, the misfortune of Aston Martin pitted him, I think, a lap before the rain started falling. Or they pitted him, from memory, they pitted him for dry tyres when the rain was only just starting to fall, only lightly in one corner. And then out of nowhere, it just soaked the entire track within a lap, and then he basically was straight back in the pits to pit for wets. Bloody unlucky, that lad. But if he scored points in a 2015 McLaren, then absolutely he's going to get points in a 2025 Aston Martin. Surely. Even Derby County got a win in 2007. And again, Bottas didn't get any points last year. Now, Norris, Leclerc, Piastri, Verstappen, Hamilton is the top 5. Hadjar, Ocon are the only ones who have pitted twice yet in the top 10. Behind them, Lawson, Albon, and now Sainz. So Sainz has actually gone up to 10th. Thanks to Alonso's retirement. The thing is, Sainz, Russell, and Antonelli, none of them have pitted yet. So they must be waiting for a red flag or some shit, which I get the feeling ain't going to come. There's a big train of cars here. But the reality is, most drivers don't want to risk an on-track pass in case it all goes wrong, which is why you see such little passing here. To get side by side, you generally are risking a crash, especially now that the cars are so big and so bulky and they're so heavy and they don't move like you would want them to. It's hard to get these things going where you want them, essentially, which just means that the racing really, really suffers for that. And it also means that the chance of a red flag is very slim, because once you start getting to this stage of the race, when everybody's sort of fanning out, lap one, when everybody's really close together and tucked together, that's when you see big things go wrong, like we did last year, going up the hill out of turn one on lap one, or even the Alpines getting together, going into the tunnel on lap one. Now, it's not impossible that something could go wrong. I mean, Pierre Gasly just lost his brakes out of nowhere, but if they're waiting for a red flag to change those tyres, I think they're going to be waiting all afternoon, is what I'm saying. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck Mercedes is thinking now. I don't know if they are. I wonder if they're just waiting to cycle through tyres on like the second last and then the last lap, which at this rate would put them way, way back in the pack. In fact, it would put them dead last. I gotta tell you, as bad as they've run the race today, and who knows, maybe something will happen. I mean, they really do need a miracle from here, but... And they're right on the edge of points, but again, they have not pitted yet. So in reality, they are going to drop way, way, way to the back when they finally do pit. That said, and a big part of this is because Liam Lawson's been backing everybody up. I mean, if you did not have that, if you didn't have Lawson just fucking half of the grid, then naturally the guys at the back would be falling further away, and then you could be doing like late pit stops and things like that, but it's just not working out that way for Mercedes. Absolutely not working out that way, which is a shame. It's a shame for George, it's a shame for Antonelli, it's a shame for Mercedes, and oh, here we go. Now Albon has just let Sainz by, so Albon is going to now hold up the Mercedes. So here we go. This is Monaco shithousery, I think, at its finest. What is this? Oscar Piastri getting really slidey. Ooh, just tapped the wall at Saint-Devote with the rear left. Just a little nudge. It's this on board with Kimi Antonelli. Just couldn't brake for the chicane and goes straight across it. Meh, no harm, no foul, that's fine. This, right, if you thought Racing Bulls were going to shithouse, this is Williams absolutely shithousing the rest of it. This is fantastic. This is like prime Stoke City FC as a race. Complete shithousery. Here we go. So basically the game plan for Williams now is 9th and 10th is absolutely achievable, but what they need is Albon to hold everybody up. And he is going to back at about 20 seconds and let Sainz pit. And then that should really be enough. Although I think Sainz needs 2 stops, doesn't he? Wish they had a counter for the amount of pit stops that everyone's had, because keeping an eye on all 20 guys all race is actually quite difficult. I know he hasn't done a pit stop yet, so yeah. Absolutely shithousing it. It's fucking hilarious. So James Vowles basically apologising to the viewers for what he's about to do to this race. It's okay, it's only for 10th, you know, I will say that. But in a way, I think Charles Leclerc, by being so bloody good at qualifying, has kind of fucked this race, because Piastri v Norris v Verstappen at the front of the grid would have been very, very interesting. Leclerc getting in there in second has just basically given Norris a free ride home. Because I get the feeling I get a really good feeling that Leclerc was never, ever, ever going to get by Norris. Not unless something truly fucked happened. I think he had... The best chance was the start, and Norris just nailed the start, so too bad for Charles. Then again, the Monaco curse, we'll see if Charles Leclerc has broken it, or if it was just a 1 year blip on the curse, because generally he does not finish races here, and they don't go well. In fact, 1 year he didn't even start a race here. And now Martin Brundle's talking about maybe mandated pit stops. Guys, I don't know how else to put this. This is Monaco. This is it. I mean, if you want to improve overtaking at Monaco, you have to extend the track somehow. You have to change the layout, or you have to change the cars. Now, the cars next year are going to be a little bit lighter. They're going to be a little bit narrower, a little bit shorter, a little bit smaller. So we'll see what that does. But it really is unknown next year, the tech regs, exactly what it's going to do to the racing. I've always said beware of unintended consequences. Now this is Norris coming up to lap. Bortoletto. So he's just absolutely caught up to everybody. So Albon through to Bortoletto is basically the train here. And the thing is, this helps Carlos Sainz as well, because everybody is going to lose so much time getting lapped. It's actually going to help Sainz jump ahead a few seconds and get his pit stops done quicker. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what else to say. This is Monaco. This is Monaco. This is just how it is here. Sometimes you get crazy races like 1996. Sometimes you get torturous races. This one is somewhere in between. It's certainly not crazy. It was interesting, at least at the start, when everybody was starting to cycle the pits. But it looks like RB, Racing Bulls, whatever the fuck they're called this year. It looks like the Racing Bollocks, and it looks like Williams have cracked it. Russell just complaining about Albon driving dangerously slow. I mean, yeah, kind of, but, you know, probably nothing that bad. Nothing bad enough to black flag him. That's Monaco. It's Monaco. And the thing is, I'm not sure how you really fix the racing here. That said, I have seen races worse than this at other venues. What gives me a real pause for thought is so I'm trying to kick down my desk, is the Madrid circuit next year, because that looks like a big pile of arse. So we'll see if that actually races better than it looks. And I want to say, I'm going on record, I did say Las Vegas would be a good race. Before they ever went there, I looked at the track layout and I said, it looks okay for the racing. It's simple, but simple is okay for the racing. Because it was wide with long straights and definite passing areas. And lo and behold, we got decent races at Vegas. Tracks like this, which is what the Mad Ring, as they're calling it, reminds me of. Ooh, that would have been George Russell straight lining the chicane by an accident. Okay, so they're hoping at Red Bull for a safety car window over Piastri. I don't think it's going to happen. I think that Piastri is going to finish third. Leclerc is in the pits as well. So Leclerc has seen that there is a gap and is going to be going for it. Not the quickest stop. 2.2 seconds. It seemed slower than that, surely. Somebody run that back. I want to get a recount on that pit stop. It looks slower than 2.2. Russell might as well cut the chicane to overtake and just build a penalty gap. He'll be in the clear within 3 laps. You know what? I almost want it. We could see just supreme shithousery. I remember at the end of, I think it was the 23 season, Sauber were pulling just the strangest strategy at Abu Dhabi, and the whole point was just to fuck with Aston Martin. The entire point, they didn't give a shit what they were doing in the race. They just pitted their cars specifically to hold up the Aston Martins, and it worked. Because they ended up getting, I think it was 6th in the championship that year. So it worked for them. I would love to see that. I would love to see that as Sainz is in the pits. And it says that Russell's ahead of Albon now. Did I miss that? Russell's running ahead of Albon. I saw that Russell cut the oh fuck, maybe he did cut the chicane and he's just saying fuck it. Maybe he heard you, mate. That would be hilarious if that's what they did. It really would be. I mean, they may as well. If Albon's basically got no choice but to just keep it going. He can't hang with George Russell. He can't just like speed up and try to overtake him again. It's totally done. I mean, leading the track and gaining an advantage noted at turn 10. Yeah, that's it. So George Russell's absolutely read this comment and he's figured, fuck that, that's what I'm going to do. That is very funny. I gotta say, that really, really is very funny. Like, if that's what he's doing, then that is just brilliant. Well done, George. Well done. I mean, I wish he'd done it like 30 laps ago, but, you know, I think he's got to take a 5-second penalty, says Albon. I think it would be, I think intentional corner cutting is worse. It shouldn't be allowed, is the radio message back to Albon. I think fucking holding up most of the field to let your driver build a gap is also bullshit, Williams. So, you know, let's just pump the brakes there, shall we? Not literally. You can keep fucking going as quick as you can if you want. It would be funny if George has just totally fucked this and is just going to eat the penalty and doesn't give a shit. Like, that is funny. So we've seen Racing Bulls and Williams, and now possibly Mercedes, just pull the biggest shithouser moves in Formula 1. I'm not sure which is the biggest yet. RB got in early. Here we go. So this is George Russell. And yeah, just pretends like he can't make the chicane. No, that was lap 49. So he's going to do it again, I guess. Russell saying that he's avoiding a collision. So here we go. This is the clever thing. Russell has already planted the seed saying that Albon has been braking too hard in the corners. And he probably has. I mean, we all know George never intended to make that corner, but he could make the argument, he could make it, that he was just avoiding Albon. And he's going to probably run with that because he has to after the race, because he has to say to the stewards, I had to avoid a collision. I had to avoid contact. He's saying that with the stewards now, basically pleading his case and saying, oh, there's Bottas and his glorious mullet. Fantastic. And the glorious mustache too. Oh, absolute legend. Aussie legend he is, Valtteri Bottas. Everybody's favourite Australian. So George is trying to shithouse the stewards now as well as the rest of the grid. So I think he might be the biggest and best shithouser of the day. I guess that's an award that they could just give out at Monaco specifically, because a track like this, it kind of encourages and rewards desperate shithousery, which we've seen so far from Racing Bulls, which has worked for them. And I think that's going to be Lawson's first points of the year, I think, from memory. Can't remember if he's done the points yet or not. I don't think he has. Can't recall him doing it. I can't remember what he did in Imola last time out. I can't recall, because I'm too old, and Kimi Antonelli's doing it too. Fantastic. All right. Well, I mean, that's one way of fucking doing it. I think if I'm everybody behind, like Yuki Tsunoda, just say, fuck it, that's it, go. The best thing is, again, Albon, although the horse might have bolted here, Albon cannot... No, Kimi's giving the place up. Oh, fuck off, mate. Come on. Just... I mean, I don't know. Maybe it is Albon is... Oh, it's just getting lapped. Antonelli is. I thought he was giving the position up to Yuki for some reason. Yeah. So Antonelli, that was actually genuine. I mean, if anything, if I'm Antonelli, I would have just kept that position. Now, what is this? Max Verstappen's had to cut across the chicane. I think he was lapping a car, so I think that's going to be fine. It's not exactly gaining an advantage there. Hatsuki getting out of the way of the McLaren. It's really getting tight down there. That's what she said. So here we go. 0 stops, Russell and Antonelli. 1 stop, Verstappen, Hamilton, Sainz, Tsunoda, Stroll, as Leclerc barely gets by a lapped Lance Stroll. It's so congested at the... Everybody else has done 2 stops, rather. It's so congested at the back that basically nobody can get out of line. If you get out of line to get lapped, you're probably going to lose a whole bunch. We've got a drive-through penalty. We'll delay it as long as we can. Says Russell, to be honest, I prefer not to speak. Pulling the Mourinho there, who was another famous shithouser and fantastic at shithousing. One of the greatest of all time, actually. I think now that they've got a penalty, I wonder if they don't take it, if they would just disqualify George Russell from this race. I don't know what to say. Apart from this is pretty fucking disgraceful out of the entire sport. The FIA has tried something to spice up the sport, and it's the FIA that's tried this because they're the ones who mess with the rules. Liberty can say, we would like this, we would like that, etc. But at the end of the day, the FIA sets the sporting regs. Box for penalty says, alright, well now Antonelli's going to have to start playing the Albon game as well. And Sainz is in the pits too, so Sainz is going to get away with it. And I would assume if they can manufacture this, and Russell is not going to get in the way, his drive-through is not going to get in the way of Sainz's penalty. Not penalty, his pit stop rather. So that has not worked out really for George Russell, has it? That said, he's still ahead of Albon, but he does need to take actual pit stops too, so... Essentially, Russell's on a 3-stop strategy now, which is going to send him right to the back. Yeah, I mean, what you need now is Antonelli to jump ahead of Albon and then hold everybody else up. It's just basic shithousery. And because Sainz has now stopped twice, it means that Albon doesn't have to slow down anymore. He can just pick up the pace and go, like we've seen with Lawson. Lawson's not just dropped pace. I mean, he's running 10 seconds behind the Haas, but, you know, he can only do so much. All right. Lando Norris, you're doing well. Obviously, Verstappen will try to hang it out for a VSC or worse, aka a safety car. So Verstappen leads, but still needs to pit again, and he's just gambling desperately that something might happen. I mean, we've seen some real shithousery today, so who knows? Maybe Yuki will put it in the wall just for Max Verstappen. Pull a bit of a Nelson Piquet Jr. The thing is that I was saying before that a red flag is very rare once you get past a certain lap counter because unless you get something weird like a massive crash, for instance, or debris just sort of like all over the track. And we've seen F1 in the past get very, very happy to throw a red flag, I think, in a very bullshit way. Like Australia in 23, for instance. When the Haas went into the wall and then they threw a red flag with, there was like 5 laps to go. It was just total horse shit. However, I forgot where I was going with this point, actually. I think Verstappen is basically going to be doomed. I think he's going to finish. The thing is, he would end up 4th anyway, so he's going to try to desperately get something out of this, but I just don't think it's going to work. Now Kimi Antonelli is backing off. Backing right off. I mean, this is going to be Williams getting beat at their own game. If Albon does end up finishing 11th. I get the feeling what Williams wanted was to close these guys, to close Albon and Sainz up, and then maybe swap position at the end as a just a gratitude, thank you for doing your part, because remember Albon gave that position to Sainz so that they could start working this in the first place. I mean, this, how to put it, we got 20 laps to go, by the way. This race is just, it's exposed, I think, a lot of the worst shithouse aspects of this sport. Real shithousery going on today, and I use that word and I mean it, like real shithousery's gone on today. And you can tell because Hadjar in 6th is a lap down with 20 laps to go. Now the McLaren, Verstappen, Leclerc, for Hamilton, they are all quick. Lapping up to 6th with 20 laps to go, they're not that quick. This has all been just games, fun and games from the mid-pack downwards, and it's all, I think, been a little bit embarrassing. It's supposed to be encouraging more strategy, but what it's done instead is unlocked just absolute shithousery out of the teams. So maybe back to the drawing board for the FIA for next year. That's right, yeah, and I was saying it was the FIA that's done this, because they're the ones who do sporting rules like this. So once again, another half-baked, half-farted turd out of the FIA, I think. I mean, I'll put it this way, it's been more interesting than just watching a parade. It has been more interesting, in the same way that watching your house burn down is interesting. It's not good, but it's interesting. It's Pierre Gasly just sort of ruminating on what's gone wrong today. It's a shame. It's a real shame. Actually, it's amazing that there wasn't a safety car out of that. I mean, a crash out of the tunnel, car-to-car contact as well, debris on the track, and then somehow we avoided a safety car for that. Now, for anybody who's still paying attention at home, it is, what can Mercedes do? Can they steal the point that Williams thought was going to be theirs? Antonelli just has to shithouse really, really, really hard from here on out. I mean, the fact that the Mercedes now are 2 laps behind shows just what kind of ridiculous fun and games was going on today. But the most important thing, I think, is no red flags. Thank God for that. There has not been a red flag. I don't just have to sit here holding my cock for 40 minutes. So that comment, by the way, Russell might as well cut the chicane to overtake and just build a penalty gap. You know, Nostradamus over here, he's absolutely figured it out. Just killed that one. Absolutely killed it. You should be on the pit wall yard. I mean, that is a great example, I think, of thinking fourth dimensionally. So, yeah. Here we are, 18 laps to the end, and it's just pure shithousery from here. So I think Antonelli hasn't stopped at all. I don't think Russell's changed his tyres yet. Or did he? And I missed that. No, I think it was just a drive-through, wasn't it? Well, that's very interesting. Martin Brundle just ruminating that maybe Verstappen just doesn't pit and then just takes a penalty at the end if he has to, because he would still finish 4th, which is very interesting. It would be a big, nice, solid middle finger to the FIA. I don't know if they... I mean, I think the penalty is 30 seconds, so there is that, but I don't know if they would be maybe wanting to set an example and getting out a black flag or something for Max Verstappen. I think the whole race has been a little bit embarrassing for the FIA, to be honest. I mean, again, like I just said, it's been interesting. It's been more interesting than watching 70 laps of absolutely nothing like we did last year, but... you know... Sometimes you go out for a day and absolutely nothing happens. You know, you go for a walk in the park and it's nice. It's not beautiful, but it's nice. And you enjoy it. And it's just a nice, easy way to spend 90 minutes walking around on a Sunday. Nothing spectacular, nothing life-altering or anything like that, but, you know, it's something to do. And that's what we usually get here, but this year it's a bit like going for that same walk, but along the way you start pissing your pants, and then you cannot stop pissing your pants. That's what it's like. Alright, so Science just saying to the pit crew that Albon absolutely will finish the race in P9, not to worry, and he will. Albon will jump him as well, because Russell still has to stop, doesn't he? Well, he has to stop again at least. Yeah. This has been the race of pissing pants, I think. Pissing pants and just kind of embarrassing yourself. I mean, you know, fair play. Fair play to RB, fair play to Williams, even fair play to George. They've seen what is going on and they've tried to think of ways around it. It happens every time they change a rule or a regulation or things like that. You get unintended consequences, and you get some guys who just try to, how would you say, go against the spirit of the rule. Because when it comes to the word of the law, the spirit of it doesn't mean jack and shit. If you just go by the word of the law, then you can do whatever sort of fuckery, shithousery, malarkey that you can that you see fit. Which is what we saw today out of RB, and, you know, fair play to them. They're going to get rewarded with a 6th and an 8th. Williams are going to get rewarded with a 9th and a 10th. Mercedes looks like they're going to get jack and shit out of this race after all. And from my memory, Tsunoda hasn't stopped twice yet either. Unless he has, and I just completely missed it. It's hard to keep up with all of this now. Lando's family watching on. I tell you, this is the race that you want to win with. For all the shitty games and stuff that get played here, and as much as it is just a parade 95% of the time, it is, like I said before, there is a real mastery to driving a Formula 1 car around here, 78 laps and winning as well. I mean, I forget who it was. I don't think it was Niki Lauda, but somebody of around that era. Pirodi, maybe? Who said that driving an F1 car around Monaco is like driving a bicycle around your living room. It's true as well. It's so narrow. There is basically zero margin for error, especially back then when that quote was first said. Incredibly dangerous to be doing it. An incredibly dangerous place to race. I mean, we've seen massive incidents here before, and the crowd is so close, the marshals are so close, the photographers and everybody else is so close. So the cars on the track, I mean, it is the slowest circuit on the calendar, but that doesn't mean that it's slow. They're still pulling nearly 300 k's an hour in places here, which is very, 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 very quick for what is essentially racing around a driveway. So, I mean, winning this race still, with all the complaints about the actual action on track and all of that sort of stuff, actually doing it really is still a momentous thing to do. You know, the occasion of it is no different just because nobody behind you is passing. That's looks like a slow stop out of Russell, 3.7. Yeah, I mean, Mercedes aren't getting shit out of this race. They aren't getting absolutely nothing out of this. There's Antonelli, who's dutifully backed everybody up, but it doesn't matter because Russell is in 11th. So, unless they want to disqualify Verstappen if he doesn't pit. The clerk's saying, yeah, Norris is slow. Oh, mate, jeez, leave the guy alone, goodness. The thing is, Norris doesn't have to push here, because he knows that he's leading. He's essentially leading. If Verstappen pits, he's in the lead. If Verstappen doesn't pit, he hits a penalty and Norris wins. Even if he's not first over the line today, Norris will be the winner. He doesn't have to go quick. In fact, for a laugh, I think Norris should slow everybody up just to see what would happen. Not that I think it would matter. Everybody Hajar downwards is a lap down, at least one lap down. Science is 2 laps down, so yeah, I mean, like I said before, that's just the games that everyone was playing, and it's totally fucked everybody back there. Who was doing that a couple of years ago? Somebody was doing that a couple of years ago. And I think Hamilton was getting held up from memory. There was a big gap. It was like a safety car, I think. And after the safety car, like 7th and beyond just got pushed way, way, way back from the top running cars because somebody was essentially doing that. I forget who that was, but I do remember that happening. So a bit of inspiration from the past there. So Science and Albon now running 1 second apart. So yeah, Science is probably going to give the position back. Is it going to be right now? Yes, it is. And Albon gives them a little wave. They got nice team harmony going on at Williams right now. I like... Now, as far as being World Championship contenders again, I don't see it yet out of Williams. I think they were going to have to do a whole lot more to convince me of that. I mean, coming from last in the field, from being the slowest car to being best of the rest, or even the occasional podium contender, that is a massive, massive gap. But an even bigger gap than that is going from being an occasional podium contender to a race winner. And even bigger than that is going to being World Championship material. Not sure how far Williams can push it there, but what I will say about them, I like what they've been doing so far. And this is just out of this year's car, which they've already written off as well. Next year, we'll see Piastri, a closer shave than Wallace and Gromit. My goodness. Really, really pushing there. I mean, this is what I was saying before. Even half an inch can ruin your afternoon. That's what she said too. I do like what I'm seeing out of Williams. Nice team harmony. There's a what would you call it? A pep? A zest? Something is going on at that team. There's a lot of decent vibes coming out of them. Of course, vibes don't make you a world champion, but we'll see exactly what they can pull out of the new regulations. It's a real turnaround for that team, you know. It wasn't that long ago. It was only about 10 or so years ago. It's before Stroll got invested in them that they were really, really just up shit creek. They had I remember back in the day when they were running like Bruno Senna and Maldonado and stuff, and the car was just basically nowhere, except for that one day that Maldonado won. Now that was shithousery. That was just the biggest anomaly of a win, and it wasn't even like a Gasly or an Ocon win or something where you just like, right, that safety car, that weird start, that red flag or anything. There was no pointing to any of that. It was just him winning, but absolutely amazing. But I remember there was dark days for Williams in the last decade or so. Really, really dark. I mean, well, the family ended up selling up, didn't they? So it shows just how dire it got. Actually, it's heartening to see F1 in general in such a nice position right now. I mean, we've got a fucking movie coming out, which I've barely touched on. I think the plot looks like ours, but that's about it. Everything else in it looks pretty ace, but Verstappen left hand side of his tyres are dead. Well, that's 40 laps on mediums around Monaco. That'll happen. Look at everybody else. Piastri 20 laps, Hamilton 14 laps. Yeah. How about that? Anyway, I think it's in a good position. It's in a really, really good position, this sport right now. I can't believe how popular it is. I really, really can't. I never in my life... I've been following this for... since I was this old. And I've just never seen it so big. I mean, it's always been big among race fans and things like that. You know, it's Formula One. It's always been big, but not this. This is just gargantuan now. I mean, it's fucking trendy, for God's sake. This was a sport that only geeks were into back in the day, back when I was growing up. But I mean, geez, the guys are just rock stars now. I remember I used to be able to turn up at Albert Park, and you could actually, if you would just wait in a line, you know, the line was a little long, but not that bad. And you could actually meet these drivers, you know, go up and get your shit signed and all of that sort of stuff. But now they have appearances, where there's just a sea of people coming to see them. Lando Norris asking, where is Oscar? Where is the backup? It's about 2.5 seconds behind. So now Verstappen is going to pull perhaps the most shithouse move of the lot. I mean, Verstappen's tyres are dead. They are dead. There's 8 laps to go. He's only stopped the one time. But I get the feeling maybe Max, maybe, he might be... Max is backing me up. He's not even pushing, says Norris. Yes. I was about to say, I get the feeling maybe Max is trying to invite Charles Leclerc not to... I mean, if Leclerc gets by Norris, it's good for Max in his championship. It doesn't make a difference really for Piastri, but it's good against Norris for his championship. Max, that is. But I wonder if he's pushing Leclerc to try to maybe make a pass attempt that will end in a safety car. You killed the man, Benaldi, but not the idea. Fuck. Man, you know what? He was the original. He was the OG of Monaco shithousery, wasn't he? Just... I will say, though, Coulthard, I think, still finished, what, 5th or 6th that day? So it is possible. It is possible to recover from that. All you need is a field of cars that are actually can make a pass if you're brave enough. But also a bit more retirements as well. Now, is Max trying to encourage maybe a bit of a tangle between Leclerc and Norris? The thing is, it's really hard to make a pass here, but if you're getting backed up so much by the guy ahead, maybe the guy behind thinks something's on. Could be opportunities here. That's the radio message to Piastri. When he says opportunities, what he means is possibly contact between Leclerc and Norris. It's harder for Leclerc to avoid contact here if Norris is getting backed up into him. That's when things really start getting fucky. Not that it's guaranteed, but it does make it more likely. Max is now 1.7 seconds ahead of Norris. I wonder if Norris has just backed off a little bit, if he's seen Max's game, or if Max has just magically found a little bit more pace this lap. Piastri now 1 second behind Charles Leclerc. So he's caught up about 1.5 seconds in a lap or so. He's right here. The big problem is, especially for Norris and Piastri, nobody, when you're fighting for a championship like that, you've just got the points on the mind. Nobody's really... You wouldn't risk eating that much shit and potentially DNFing just to get a couple of extra points. Now, extra points at the end of the season might really come in handy, but a few extra points would be great, but getting no points could be disastrous, and that's basically the trade-off here. Norris now 2 seconds behind Verstappen. I think he's seen what Verstappen's game might be and he doesn't want to play, or Verstappen's just found a bit more pace. The thing is, Leclerc's not going to be able to get by. Not unless Norris gets like a puncture or some sort of shit, but we saw a few years ago Daniel Ricciardo won with a broken hybrid unit on the car that was costing him, I think, about 160 horsepower, and he still managed to stay ahead. So that's just the kind of deficit you can have at a track like this and still stay ahead. It's virtually impossible to pass. Look at them smacking along that curb. 5 laps to go, but wait. Oh. It's actually gone quite quickly, this race. What is it? Yeah, about half past the hour. So it has actually moved quite quickly, this race. Yeah, Tsunoda still with the one tyre change, and Verstappen as well. So, well, That's it. From here, all we're going to do is just see the Red Bulls go backwards. This race is hard. It's been hard to read because of the sheer amount of shithousery on display. A regular, normal track, you would never be able to do this. Not even somewhere like Hungary. They used to call Hungary like Monaco without the walls, but even there you can make a pass. He's doing many mistakes at the moment, says Leclerc. Oh, steady on, mate. He's trying. Charles just throwing so much shade at Norris there. Oh, it's just a replay of Verstappen. This will be him cutting close. Not even that close to the wall. Really not even that close to the wall, so he's definitely not pushing. You can see those tyres are absolutely fucked, though. Even at speed, you can see that they're not doing great. Let's just look at Jeff Bezos for a few seconds there, because, you know, why would you want to look at F1 cars when you can look at Jeff fucking Bezos just sitting there? Just not doing anything. I get the feeling Jeff might actually be waving the flag. Oh, no, I suppose if he were waving the flag, he would be out there already, wouldn't he? Maybe he's not waving the flag this time. Jeff Bezos, by the way, who runs his fulfillment centers like a fucking dictator. Just lest we forget, you know. I gotta say, if he were to send 6 F1 drivers up to the moon, not the moon, rather, to space, like he did with those women a few months ago, I wonder who he would send, and who among those he sends would be the most insufferable about it. Maybe something to think about over the next week until we get to Spain. Oh, look at Leclerc getting right up the back of Lando Norris. Almost see his ass crack from there. Yeah, Lando Norris has absolutely no pace left. No pace left. Those tyres... I mean, it's only 24 laps on those tyres, but I think he's just taking it easy. There's no need to push it from here on. Absolutely no need. Well, 3 laps to go. What are we thinking? What are we thinking? 2.5 stars, maybe? It's not been the worst Monaco race I've ever seen. Are they still ahead by a minute? Hamilton radio? Yeah, basically. And Red Bull ready to make a pit stop. Now this is going to be for either Yuki or Verstappen, and it's Yuki Tsunoda. Alright, Lewis just trying to figure out how slow he is here. Am I a minute behind? Says Lewis Hamilton. God, I tell you. Because he jumped to 5th after the first round of pit stops, and he's just kind of gone nowhere from there. Really nowhere. Look how far back he is. I think another race and another round of back to the drawing board for Lewis Hamilton, really. I don't know what... I don't know what's missing for Lewis at Ferrari. He just doesn't seem to be feeling it. Ever since they raised the ride height after his China disqualification, he hasn't been feeling the car at all. I mean, even in China in the Grand Prix, he wasn't feeling it like Leclerc was. It's just not gelling with the thing. Patrick Dempsey waving the flag. Now that is a celebrity flag waver I can get behind. Actual rev head, genuine race car driver. Not like fucking, I don't know, take your pick, Megan the Stallion, why not? Who has absolutely no idea what a car even does. That's somebody who genuinely appreciates the sport, so good work, McDreamy. God, that must be a hell of a thing. When you're that much of a rev head and you end up waving the flag at one of these races, damn. It's a bit of a life goal there. So Verstappen is going to box this lap. I suppose, I mean, he's not going to get anything out of this. He's really not going to get anything out of this race. Whether he pits or whether he risks the stewards later, he's not going to finish on that podium. And I don't think he ever was today, really. Starting fourth here, if everybody finishes, generally means that you're going to finish fourth. Anyway, on to the final lap. Verstappen is definitely going to keep hold of fourth place, and then Hamilton's definitely going to keep hold of fifth. Everybody else behind there is probably going to hold station, and that, I think, will be that. So, lap 78, Norris, Leclerc, Piastri, Verstappen, Hamilton, Hadjar, Ocon, Lawson, Albon, and Sainz. Double points for Williams, double points for Racing Bulls, good points for Haas. That's absolutely fantastic for those teams. McLaren won 3, which is great. You know, only Leclerc to spoil the party there. Leclerc, absolutely fantastic. Hamilton managed to recover to 5th, so decent for him. If he started 4th, maybe he could have finished ahead of Verstappen. Who knows? We'll never know. It's a shame for Lewis, but I mean, he really, really hasn't had the pace today to do anything at all. So, and that's, I mean, he got 5th after the first round of pit stops, and it never really went anywhere for him as Lando Norris comes around the final corner. And he's going to take the win. Well done, Lando. There he goes. Fantastic. Leclerc 2nd, Piastri 3rd. That's it. Lando Norris, Monaco winner. So if he doesn't get a championship out of this, at least he gets that. Something's gone on with the timing line as well. Albon and Sainz are not 4th and 5th. Antonelli definitely is not 6th. He's 3 laps down. Okay, now the timing line is really starting to shit itself. So we can, I guess, ignore the whatever the timing line is saying there. I already read out the top 10, so whatever. They're absolutely amazing. It's been a good. Well, the race was amazing. Not really. The race was interesting in different ways. Not great ways either. Just in different ways. A bit like finding a dog turd on your doorstep. It's not the best thing. I mean, it's certainly not nothing, but it's also not the best thing. Norris on the radio here. Just doing a bit of his Austin Powers impression there. Oh, well done, Lando. And that's it. That's the first win since Albert Park. So, I mean, this to me says his title fight is absolutely back on track. Now, I think he was unlucky. He could have won in Miami, but he ended up getting shoved aside by Verstappen. Definitely had the pace to win it there. Imola, I think, again, Verstappen just kind of like spanked everybody there as well, but he's not been that far off it. There's been a lot of talk of Lando spiraling and, you know, just he's hopeless and he's out of control and all this stuff. I don't think that's true. I think there was a couple of races, definitely like Saudi, Bahrain-ish, when Piastri was really on a roll and Lando was starting to get a little bit down in the dumps, but I think he's just been lacking that little bit of luck. Got luck in the Miami sprint, which is great for him, but a sprint, you know, sprints don't mean shit to me. Got unlucky in the Grand Prix, otherwise I think he would have won there, so this is maybe a little bit overdue here. I think he's done well. He's done well today. Done very well. Leclerc's done fantastically well, did exactly what he needed to do, nailed the qualifying lap yesterday, just drove a decent race today, didn't have to do anything spectacular or foolish, and he didn't either, which is brilliant. You know, he's absolutely held his own. Great work, Charles Leclerc. Looks like the curse is done. Confirmed done, because a first and a second in consecutive years means that the monkey is off the back. Piastri 3rd. Unlucky for Oscar, basically just he lost 2nd place in qualifying, really. Didn't have an answer for Leclerc when it mattered in the Grand Prix. Well, that's how she rolls sometimes. Verstappen 4th. Again, just didn't really have the pace today. Didn't really have the pace yesterday. Had some pace, which is why he's 4th, but just not enough to beat the McLarens. They really, really are the complete package, and that looks like a solid car. They're winning, and they're competitive, and they're winning everywhere. It's not that they're turning up at only the fast tracks or only in fast corners or things like that. They are a very solid car. Very solid. There he is. I think... Nah, it's still too close to call the championship. It's still way too early to call it, but that, I think, was a championship drive right there. I think he held it well. Did well, killed the qualifying lap. Absolutely killed it. And that really meant the world. Just celebrations there from Lando and Park for May. What else have we had today? Hamilton 5th. Yeah, like I was saying, I don't know what the fuck it's going to take for Hamilton to find a bit more speed out of that Ferrari. Oscar Piastri with the world's least disguised fake smile there, as he congratulates Lando. Their dynamic over the next few races is going to be very interesting. When Lando, I mean, naturally a title fight's going to go back and forth, unless the one or the other completely spirals out of it. You're going to see them being very close on track and close in qualifying and things like that, which means it's basically a recipe for things to go wrong when it comes to team harmony. So we'll see what happens there for the rest of the year. It should be very interesting. Hamilton 5th, like I said, fuck. Hadjar 6th was just brilliant. First time in an F1 car in Monaco, finishing 6th, I think is absolutely fantastic. Fucking brilliant. Really, really, really good stuff out of Hadjar. I mean, we know how we got there. I've spent half the race complaining about it, but that is brilliant execution from Hadjar to get it done. Great qualifying lap. Great race. He's absolutely killed it today. Well done, Isaac. And this is coming after a couple of touches with the wall in practice, so he's really good at resetting his mindset, isn't he? It's done well there. 7th, Ocon. Fantastic points for Haas. Really, really good showing out of Ocon. Really well done. Again, qualifying just kind of made all of this. Lawson 8th. Decent showing from Lawson. I mean, the starter of the shithousery, but did what he had to do. This is probably the impressive race that Lawson's driven all year. Really has been missing a lot this year. I really haven't seen him a lot, and I mean, I haven't seen a lot from him all year. I think he's been really lacking, but today he really made it work. Albon Sainz, good shithousery to get 9th and 10th. Very Stoke City FC performance out of Williams, and they cheesed it. They cheesed the game and they won it. Well, they won the cheesing. So decent points for Williams now. Russell 11th, Behrman 12th. I mean, this is all just the hard luck stories down here, especially George Russell tried something and ended up eating a drive-through for it. So that's a bit more than the 10-second penalty I think that they were anticipating, which is a shame, but what can you do? You know, desperate times, desperate measures and all of that. Behrman 12th, just unlucky. I mean, 12th is decent. For somebody who started 20th, 12th is actually quite decent. And he was the first guy to stop twice as well, if memory serves me correctly. The first guy in that back half to stop twice. And what helped him was stopping twice early. And then when all those shithouse games were being played and the whole field was getting backed up, he just naturally vaulted ahead. So well done, Ollie. Colapinto 13th, he was in this race. I guess that's what we can say about him. Bortoletto, decent recovery after the first lap shenanigans as well, to 14th. Stroll, Hulkenberg, Tsunoda, Antonelli, all of them all leaving their second pit stops a bit too late because there's so much shithousery happening in the back half of the field. Kind of fucked them. Then Alonso didn't finish at all. Gasly had a wee crash with Yuki Tsunoda. That was Monaco. So the good news is Monaco is over. The better news is we don't have to come back for another year. And even better than that, the Indy 500 is coming up, which I will be watching, not here. I'll be watching it on my couch because it's fun. Either way, thank you very, very much for joining us. Charles Leclerc, amazingly, looks like he's barely broken a sweat today as well. Looks very calm there, doesn't he? Bless him. Yeah. What would you say about this race? 2.5 stars, 3 stars, 2.5, soft 3, kind of a solid 2.5. Enough interesting bits that I was engaged more than falling asleep like I have been the last couple of years. And definitely last year was just, I think I've had more fun at the dentist. They're going to have to fix the 2-stop rule. Whatever the fuck they tried to make out of it this year, it hasn't worked. They're going to have to do something else or just scrap it entirely and just go back to the usual shitty parade, and then we can all just get a nap in, and, you know, it'll be a nice Sunday night that way. Either way, thanks for watching. I will be back next week. F1 will be in Spain for round 9. It should be fun. Should be interesting. I think it's going to be the last race in Catalonia as well, because they're doing Madrid in 26. I don't think they're doing Catalonia in 26 as well. I think it might be the swan song, the farewell to the Circuit de Catalunya, which normally would be a celebration, but I have seen the Madrid circuit, and all I can think is, fuck. It turns out things might actually get worse than Catalonia. So, Join me next week. I will be going through all of that. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you had fun. Hope you somehow had fun in that race. It was interesting enough, I think. Anyway, I'll